Hello dear students, in the previous class we were discussing the story The Diary of Anne Frank. Now we will continue with the further part of the lesson. I started right away at the Montessori nursery school. I stayed there until I was 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the sixth form my teacher was Mrs. Cooperus, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we both were in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. In the summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation. So, my birthday passed with little celebration. Students, here farewell in the sense it's an act of parting or of making someone's departure. Okay. So what the author is telling here, in Holland, Annie was sent to Montessori nursery school. It was her first school. She started from first form, in the sense from first standard. She had Mistress Cooperus, the headmistress, as her teacher in sixth form, who even cried at the time of farewell. In 1941, the author's birthday could not be celebrated well because her grandmother fell ill and underwent an operation. Okay. Now we will move to next paragraph. Grandma died in January 1942. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. The birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other, and grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20 June 1942 and the solemn dedication of my diary. Here intended means planned. Solemn in the sense characterized by deep sincerity, means having the character of sincerity. Dedication means commitment. Okay. So what the author is telling here, unfortunately her grandmother left them in January 1942. Annie misses her grandmother more than anyone knows. Okay. This year's birthday was to be celebrated with great zeal so as to compensate for last year's. She then mentions that her family is doing well, which sums up her background and brings her to the present date of June 20, 1942, when she is writing her diary. Okay. Now we will move to the next paragraph. Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quacking in its boots. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. Gian and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys behind us, C.N. and Jacques, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. From morning to night, it's you are going to pass. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Even G's pleading glances and my angry outbursts can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back, but teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth. Here quaking means shaking and staked means bet or chanced. Outburst means a sudden release of strong emotion. Dummies means an object designed to resemble and serve as a substitute for the real or usual one. Unpredictable means we cannot predict it. So what author is telling here? On June 20, 1942, Annie begins writing in her diary, addressing it as her friend Kitty. Okay. She mentions how her entire class is nervous about their results. It is unpredictable and will be decided by a meeting of teachers in which they will select students to be moved to the next class or they should be kept back. Many students were making bets. Some had put in their entire summer savings at stake. She and her friend G also made fun of the nervous boys. They kept on saying to each other that I am not going to pass, while others would console them and say, yes, you would, means you would pass. G was polite as she tried to stop them from making noise while Annie scolded them, but none of it worked. According to Annie, about a quarter of class should not be allowed to pass because they hardly respond or take part in any of the activities. She refers to them as dummies, but this may not be the case because teachers' decisions can't be predicted. Okay? Yes. Now moving to next paragraph. I am not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We will make it. The only subject I am not sure about is maths. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. Here, not to lose heart means not be discouraged. The author says that she is not bothered about her friends because she is sure that they will pass. The only thing subject that she is unsure about is mathematics. She seems to be having a tough time with the subject. But all they could do was wait for the results and not lose their hope. Okay. So, moving to next paragraph. I will get along pretty well with my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Keesing, the old fogey who teaches maths, was annoyed with me for ages because I talked to him so much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework, an essay on the subject, a chatterbox. A chatterbox, what can you write about that? I would worry about that later, I decided. I jotted down the little in my notebook, tucked it in my bag and tried to keep quiet. Here old fogey means an old-fashioned person. Chatterbox means a person who likes to chatter or very talkative. Jotted means write something very quickly. So what the author is telling? She tells how she has a great relationship with all the teachers except the maths professor. He was constantly irritating by the author's talkativeness. Despite several warnings, Annie did not stop talking in his classes, which prompted him to give her extra homework as punishment. The first one was to write an essay on chatterbox, which she thought was a weird topic to write on because what could one write about that? For that moment, she wrote the topic in her notebook, kept it in her bag and focused on staying quiet. So moving to next paragraph. That evening, after I would finish the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Keesing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there's not much you can do about inherited traits. Here ramble means to talk or write at a length in a confused or inconsequential way. So what author is telling here? The author came across the note she made as reminder for the essay after she had finished the rest of her homework. She began thinking about the topic. While chewing the tip of my fountain pen is a gesture that signifies a person is in deep thinking. While anyone could mention random stuff written for the sake of filling pages, she wanted to present concrete arguments in support of talking. She mentioned that she will try to better herself as a student, but talking is something that cannot be eliminated completely. This is because she got it as an inherited trait from her mother, and this is how she ended up writing 3 pages on the topic. We'll move on to the next paragraph. Mr. Keesing had a good laugh at my arguments, but when I proceeded to talk my way through the 2 next lessons, he assigned me a second essay. This time it was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. I handed it in, and Mr. Keesing had nothing to complain about for 2 whole lessons. However, during the 3rd lesson, he would finally had enough. And if Frank, as punishment for talking in class, write an essay entitled "Quack Quack Quack," said Mistress Chatterbox. Here, proceeded means to begin, incorrigible means not able to be changed. Okay, and here mistress means a woman in a position of authority or control. The author says that the professor found Annie's arguments to be amused, but when she did not stop talking in the next lesson also, he gave her yet another assignment as punishment. The topic was an incorrigible chatterbox. Incorrigible refers to a bad habit that is difficult to change. He gave her this topic because he was annoyed of her unstoppable chattering during his lessons. On receiving this argument, the professor did not say anything to her for a while, but when he lost his patience, he handed her yet another assignment as a punishment on the topic. Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I would nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of chatterbox. It was time to come up with something else, something original. My friend Sane, who is good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. So what the author is telling here, when the professor scolded her for the 3rd time and punished her, the whole class started laughing. As a result, she had to pretend to be amused too. After writing twice on similar topics, she ran out of thoughts. Thus, her friend Sane, who was good at poetry, offered to help her write in rhyme. This whole assignment scenario was to make Annie feel ashamed, but she made sure that she gave an effective reply. Okay. Moving to next paragraph. I finished my poem and it was beautiful. It was about a mother duck and a father swan. with 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Luckily, Mr. Keesing took the joke the right way. He read the poem to the class, adding his own comments and to several other classes as well. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Keesing's always making jokes these days. Yours, Annie? Contrary, opposite in nature, and direction or meaning. In the sense, contrary meaning of contrary means opposite in nature. So what does she tell? She finally wrote her third assignment in the form of a poem which turned out to be great. She wrote a satire that a father swan bit his 3 baby ducklings to death because of their noisy nature. To her good luck, the professor took it lightly. The professor recited the entire poem in front of the class while making his and giving his own remarks simultaneously. The author, being fortunate enough, talked uninterruptedly after this incident without any further homework as punishment. Mr. Keesing, the professor, started cracking jokes every now and then in front of the class. So friends, this was the lesson about the Anne Frank. I hope you have understood the lesson. Now we shall wind up the class here. Thank you.